that flash.
Boy, I'm on that flash. Boy, I'm on that flash.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm on that flash. Boy, I'm on that flash. Boy, I'm on that flash. Boy, I'm on that flash.
Get it.
Boy, I'm on that flash. Boy, I'm on that flash. Boy, I'm on
Get
that
it,
flash.
get it, get it, money, get it, cheese, get it, moolah, get it, wow.
Welcome to the April edition of Around Town with today's special guest, chemistry professor and entrepreneur, LaDonna Graham, noted history blogger, Mr. Yuusua Ellis, and the producers of Remembering the Uptown Theater, the musical coming May 5th to the Baby Grand, Mr. Tony Jefferson and Richard Blackwell. Now, here is your host, Elizabeth Perkins and Tanya Bain.
Thank you, Blackwell. Oh my God, we're here again.
I know we're here again. I'm excited.
We have a great show lined up.
Absolutely.
And you guys are going to love it. And we
gonna
are
love
so
it.
happy that you're here to join us. And we are going to get right into the show.
Very good. Let's
Welcome
do it.
to the show, Mr. Tony Jefferson and Mr. Richard Blackwell.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Ladies, good
Thank
to
you
see
for
you
coming.
ladies today.
Yes.
You ladies look nice, don't they?
Thank you.
Happy to be here.
Yeah,
I'm
you and me both.
excited. I'm excited for you guys to be here because you have a great event that's coming up.
Yeah.
And like it's a bevy of entertainment.
Yeah.
How'd you guys get together to do that?
Well, this was his brainchild. So
Well, Richard did a show that I was a guest at, and it was a Motown show, and I kind of reminded him of the area and the Uptown Theater in Philadelphia, which is where I was raised, and I lived near the Uptown, so I was always around the Uptown, saw a lot of the artists from back in the day. And I said, if you can do a Motown show, you should be able to do an Uptown show as well. So he kind of pulled me in after that, and this is our third show, and we're pressing on with it.
yeah.
Wow.
And each one has been better than the last one, so we're looking forward to a great show on May 5th.
Wow.
Now the interesting thing, if I can interject, when Tony approached me about doing Remembering the Uptown Theater, I wasn't familiar with the Uptown because I'm not from this area, being from
Right.
California, but I did my little reading and history searching and found out it was similar to what the Apollo means to New York, what the Regal means to Chicago, what the Howard Theater means to DC. So when Tony talked to me about doing the Uptown show, I was like, I think I could see this. I could see this happening.
Right.
So the rest is history.
Yeah, we kind of pulled it all together for the first show. The second show was last year around this time, so it was around Mother's Day. So we did a Remembering the Uptown / Mother's Day type show with an emphasis actually on both. And since May 5th this year is the weekend before Mother's Day, we're kind of doing the same thing. So it does have the Remembering the Uptown and a Mother's Day flair.
Oh wow.
So tell us a little bit about what we can expect
Yeah.
in
Well-
this show.
Well, Tony Jefferson spent a lot of time at the Uptown growing up. So what he did was conveyed to me his experiences at the Uptown, such as all the magnificent R&B soul artists who performed there through the years. Everyone from Junior Walker, the Spinners, Stevie Wonder, Martha and the Vandellas.
And these are live, right?
Well, the artists that performed there when he saw them as a kid.
Right.
The
And-
original artists.
Oh my God,
The
yeah.
original
What a
artists.
great
I
experience.
know.
So what we do with Remembering the Uptown is we replicate a night at the Uptown Theater. Of course, a lot of the artists are passed on, So
Yeah.
what we have done, we have found great talent from both Philadelphia and Wilmington who portray the legends from the 60s, 70s, and the 80s. And when I
Wow.
say portray, I mean they look like them, they sound like them, they emulate the legend. So when you're watching the show, you get the impression that you're actually watching the legends themselves.
So you guys are working with all these different entities of talent.
Yes.
And how do you bring them all together? Like, are you looking for lookalikes? Like, what was your analogy when you were looking for it, Tony?
It all kind of came together. Richard has an eye for talent, and some of the artists just happen to look like
Great.
the original artists. There are others who we are going to dress up.
Okay.
You know, so we got some other things going on so that the portrayal really puts you in the mind of the original artist. And of course, the songs that they'll be singing will take you back to those original Uptown days.
So we're going to get some Showtime at the Apollo theme, like
Yeah,
going
sorta
on
like,
live
sorta like.
artists, and they're singing, and it's going to be. Oh
They
my
actually
God.
are singing. No one is lip singing. That's the beauty of it.
Oh,
And see, when I'm sorry, John. When Tony and I think about, I said, okay, Tony, we should put this one. Let's have this group on this particular show. Like the first one, part one, we had we had 12 groups.
Wow.
12. The Spinners. We had group as the Spinners, the OJs, Patti LaBelle.
We had the Temptations,
Temptations.
Blue Magic.
You were excellent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah,
So how many
Tanya
do
was
you
there.
have together for this show?
Well, this show we have 10.
Okay.
The last two we've just had 10. Part one we had 12.
Okay.
Part two we had 10, and on this one it's going to be 10 artists as well.
Wow.
And the whole thing about it is thinking about what music we want to have performed. So right away, start thinking about who I can get that will sound, look, and portray that artist to the T.
Yeah.
So I pitch it to the performers, and they say, "Yeah, I can do that." But I'm pretty familiar from doing shows
Yeah.
here in the
'Cause
Delaware
you do
area.
a lot of live artists.
Yes, for the
shows.
last 8 years, I've really tapped into the mainstream of great talent here in the Wilmington tri-state area. And
Yeah.
it's a blessing. You know,
Yeah.
Tony and I talk about it all the time, how this is a blessing to be able to pull in 26 to maybe 30 people on a show.
Yeah.
And everyone is one cohesive unit.
Right.
And they're enthused about it because of what the Uptown represents.
we have some artists who weren't familiar
Right.
initially that kind of got the feeling of what we were doing, and then after having performed on the first and or second show,
Right.
you know, and seeing the audience who was really in tune, you know, it's like, you know, you get that feeling that I am who I'm portraying.
Right.
Right.
So
Take it to the next level.
yeah, I got to bring this out here. I got to do this right. So our performers are, as Richard said, all in. When we rehearse, even before we get started, it's almost like a family gathering. There's a lot of hugging and hand
Right.
slapping and high fiving and
Right.
fist bumping because they all know what they're there to do.
Right.
And the progression from the first rehearsals up to as late as last night. Richard and I left rehearsal last night feeling blown away, like this is really going to go.
I mean, these artists are blowing us away
Wow.
at rehearsal, and
At
I'm
rehearsal.
sitting there thinking, we're putting this show together again. This is our third one.
Yeah.
And I must add that the first two were at World Cafe Live,
Okay.
downtown Wilmington. They were
Sold out.
Over 350 people
Oh my God.
came to see the presentation. This one coming up May 5th is going to be at the Baby Grand.
Okay.
And we're hoping, of course, to sell this one out as well. And I really feel this show, in a lot of ways, is going to be better than the first two. Each one we think is going to get better.
It sounds like it's going to be. I've been
Yeah,
to
yeah,
the
you were, yeah.
performances, and I was blown away. You couldn't convince me that it wasn't the real,
Right, right.
the real singers, and the musicians
Yeah, the
were
musicians out of
excellent
sight.
as well.
Yeah, the Brit Jolly All-Star Band portrays several. And on this particular show, part 3, we have someone portraying James Brown. If I can just go through the cast real quick. Duran X is his name, and he's portraying James Brown. We're bringing back Masha T as Tina Marie, and she makes you feel like this
Yes,
is Tina
I'm
Marie.
excited.
Yes.
We have Roy Richardson as Stevie Wonder. We have the Toby Johnson crew as Cool in the Gang. We also have the Commodores group coming on this time. We have Earth, Wind and Fire.
Sly and the Family Stone,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Martha
wait.
and the
I'm
Vandellas,
excited. Yeah.
Wow.
the
Those
gonna be great.
Emotions. So you know,
We're- I'm
we got it
excited.
going on.
We're going to go to a break and we're going to come right back.
Georgie Woods. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and welcome to the stage my man, Mr. Jackie Wilson. Hey, you! Come on, here on the floor. Let's rock some more. Come out here on the floor. Honey, let's rock some more. Yeah. Now
can't take it, oh yeah. Love to tears and pain. Is that the love you need? Oh, love today. Don't delay. Take your will right away. Oh, that ain't no round. Stop being pleased before it's gone too far. Yeah. Listen, baby, ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide enough, baby. Keep me calm, no matter where you are, no matter how far. Don't worry, baby, just call my name. I'll be there in a hurry. You don't have to worry. Ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough. Ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you, baby. Remember the day I set you free? I told you that always count on me, darling. From that day on, I made a vow. I'll be there when the road is so weird somehow. 'Cause baby, there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you, baby. Oh no, darling, no way, no way. Oh, this is cold and stuck me, baby. Oh no, baby, 'cause you are in trouble. I'll be there on the double. Just stand for me, my love is alive, deep down in my heart. Although we are rising apart, if you ever need a helping hand, I'll be there on the double. This is not way. Baby, there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no.
That was amazing. I love.
Yeah, I got to applaud.
I
those
know,
artists.
right? Yeah,
We were
that
in
was
here like-
amazing. We were here jamming.
Yeah.
She was
What did it take for you guys to put all that together?
Finding the right talent to do the songs. And
Uh-huh.
see, once again, knowing who can sing what,
Yeah.
I said, okay, I can get this person to be this. I can do, and we build the show
Mm-hmm.
around that. I know who can sing what. I talked to Tony and said, Tony, let's do this, let's do that.
Mm-hmm.
He says, okay, let's make it happen. But
Wow.
the main thing is finding the talent. That's the main thing. And then get them to come together as one unit to make a production.
So do you scout? You both scout when you're looking? Like how do you do that?
It's not even a matter of scouting because I already know
Okay.
who I can get. Like for number 4 coming up, I'm already playing Remembering the Uptown Part 4. I'm
Because that
already
was the first one, right?
Well, you saw clips of both 1
Okay.
and 2.
Okay.
And so it's going to be an amazing show. You know,
I'm
it's going to be
excited.
an amazing show.
Yeah.
The list of songs that, artists can do
Yeah.
based on, who he's getting. And then it's a matter of just matching up something from that artist's catalog that says this person can do this song, and this song in a 3-song set or a 4-song set that allows us to, zero in on the best possible songs for that artist.
And like Tony said, everyone does anywhere from 3 to 4 songs. So what is actually happening is you're watching a mini concert of every artist because they step out there and they do 3 to 4 songs. You're into it, and they're singing your favorite song. That's the whole thing. I wanted songs that as soon as you heard that first beat, you can start singing along with it. That's very crucial. Song recognition. Hear that first beat, and then you're rocking with it in your seat.
Yeah, because I was there.
Yeah.
That was
we
amazing.
love that. We absolutely love that.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of finding the right people.
Yeah.
So we want everyone to come on out and enjoy part 3, which is happening May 5th, Saturday at the Baby Grand, downtown on Market Street. And tickets are available now. You can
Okay.
purchase them at the Baby Grand box office. So,
Okay.
But should be a great show. We're looking forward to this one.
Is there any other place they can purchase tickets?
Sure, they can call either one of us. I'm on Facebook. You know, they can reach out to me on Facebook, Richard Frank Blackwell on Facebook, and you know, contact me that way. We can get them tickets, but they can just get them at the Baby Grand box office.
Okay.
I can be reached at area code 302-824-3303.
Okay.
And Tony is the host,
Okay.
and I get to portray the legendary Georgie Woods.
Get
The
out.
guy with the goods.
Yes.
Wow.
That's my job, is to come out and be Georgie as best
Oh,
as I
wow.
can, you know, emulate Georgie and make it all seem so real. And as everyone knows, Georgie Woods was the host
Yes.
at the Uptown Theater
Yeah.
for many,
Many
many years.
years.
So though the Uptown closed in 1979, for one night you can come to the Baby Grand on May 5th and relive that musical magic. So one night you can come and relive the Baby Grand.
Wow.
Uptown
That's
Theater.
Let me throw this in there as well, because last year, because it did fall around the Mother's Day, and we were doing that Mother's Day theme, I am an aspiring poet, so I wrote some poetry last year that I think touched everybody in the audience at some point, and we made copies available for the ladies on their way out the door. So I plan on doing that again this year, as far as tying the two together and keeping that Mother's Day theme going. So as Richard said, I'm the host, so I'm the first one you're going to see. And I'm going to take care of the poetry end of it and get everybody in a groove so you can groove on the rest of the night.
I have a question. When you were putting this show together, did you guys do a CD? Like if you know you're at the concert, and it's a concert for me.
Well, it's on video.
After
You
it
can go on
says-
YouTube.
No, I'm saying if they were at the show,
Right.
and they wanted to acquire a CD after.
Can't do that.
Okay.
Yeah, we end up in jail.
We need you around for the next show.
But you can see all the clips from go to our YouTube channel,
And the name of the YouTube?
Remembering the Uptown Theater.
Okay.
Go to YouTube, type in Remembering the Uptown Theater, and there you will see all clips from the first two shows on our YouTube channel.
Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna take a break.
Yes,
We'll be back.
excellent. Thank you.
All right.
welcome back to Around Town. And now we're going to move into our health and wellness segment. So we're really excited to be here today with our Winning with Wellness segment. And today I have my very good friend, LaDonna Graham. Thank you for being here, LaDonna.
I'm enjoying every moment of being here today.
I know. This is great. So today, what I'd like us to talk about is a little bit about your business.
Yes.
Okay. So tell us about your business, the name, and what it is that you do.
Right. I am the owner of Body Wisdom Wellness. We're located in Smyrna, Delaware. It is a integrative holistic health center. Our focus is to help individuals who are battling with different things or disharmony in the body, and we want to bring it back into alignment.
Very good. So what does holistic mean? I hear that term a lot. What do you mean by holistic?
Actually, that's a great question. Holistic means that we're taking the approach of healing from a more of a natural standpoint. And so with me being a scientist, a chemist, I can take it to a level without using so much medication, but natural things to rebuild the body or reboot the body back to harmony.
Okay, so the rebooting, very good.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your background and kind of what brought you to this point here in your life to serve us that way.
That's a really good question also. I actually have a love or affinity for science since I've been a young child, but my first introduction is when I worked in a venereal disease clinic, and I worked also at the same time in a dental office, so those were my first jobs. And I had a chance to see how disease or abnormalities are prevalent with people, whether it's from mouth or internally. And that just fascinated me, and it allowed me to figure out ways to solve that problem for people, and they were really happy, or at least at that time be a witness to how people done it, and I just wanted to copy that, and that's how I got to where I am today.
So what makes your approach different?
Well, my approach is different is because of the natural standpoint and the science built in together, and people tend to respond very well to that. We just want them to make decisions that will actually promote them to live disease-free, with less aches and pains. We all want to do that, right? As we age gracefully.
Absolutely. I know you've certainly helped me. You've certainly helped me with that. That's really one of the main reasons that you're here, because I wanted to share that with everyone else. So tell us a little bit about like the process that you use in order to kind of help bring balance back.
Bring balance. Well, actually, the whole purpose of Body Wisdom Wellness is to do 3 approaches. We do disease prevention, we do health promotion, and we bring harmony to the body. So in that is just different phases of cleansing, detoxing, and adding back in all the natural things that is needed so the body can start rebooting or learning how to work like it properly should, regardless of your age.
Okay.
And then we do different programs from weight loss to, like I said, disease prevention, or if they're already having issues, we just try to bring that back into harmony. So individuals who are dealing with maybe cholesterol or high blood pressure, Lyme disease, Parkinson's disease, so many things. Because of my background dealing with environmental issues, I also take that approach because a lot of issues that I think people have today is based off the research that I published dealing with environmental factors.
Wow. So are you saying that the environmental factors are causing the toxins to accumulate in our body?
Absolutely.
So what kind of things can we do to kind of overcome that or avoid that? Is there anything that we can do?
What simply people can do is do a cleansing or detoxing. You can always start there. Digestive system is where disease lives, so if you constantly keep the digestive system running, that's probably a quarter of the solution for people, because that's one main thing people cannot get rid of all the toxic buildup. I mean, the liver and the kidneys do their part. The liver is the processing, and the kidneys is the filtering, but the digestive system is the eliminatory. So if you get all three of those things working properly, you will help out a whole lot, and that's where a lot of people are having some issues with.
And how do you determine what a person's issue might be?
Well, they'll give me their background, and from there I design an approach based off that, so it is customized.
Very good.
I can also use DNA. I use their DNA to help me also make decision making on the approach towards healing. And so therefore that has helped me help them recover, not in a very fast pace, but in a nice pace that would allow the body to rebuild or restore.
Okay. So why don't you share with us some of your successes that you've had?
Well, I'm gonna start off with you. So you are a part of the weight loss program. That's probably one of the most popular programs that I have. Well, I'll tell about one person today. I have clients who can lose from 20 pounds up to 100 pounds, but I have one client today who's very excited about losing 65 pounds as of today. So far, she's lost 33 inches off her full body, which is awesome. And you, my dear, have lost.
I know. I've lost 23 pounds, and I didn't feel like it was work.
Yes.
I didn't feel like it was work, and I totally trusted you because I saw the results right away.
Yes.
You know, and it was doing the right thing, eating the right things,
Yes.
and doing what LaDonna tells
And coaching,
me to
yes,
do.
yes. It's a lifestyle. We want it to be very easy. I want it to be very easy for people because I want you to do it as a lifestyle. I want it to be a preventative thing. So as you age, you can age gracefully without, like again, less aches and pains. And that's what people want. They don't want to always wake up and have to grab their back or have to grab their knees, right? and complain about aging. I actually want you to be excited about aging and that you take the negative stigma off of it because you are able to move around freely.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Quality of life.
Quality of life and balance.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the balanced approach.
Well, if the body is in disharmony, of course it's not in balance. So therefore a lot of factors come into play like swelling, being able to go to the restroom on a daily basis, not able to process foods, or even showing results on the skin like rashes or headaches or things of that nature. So in order to balance that, we have to kind of remove those things out. Mucus may be involved, you know, high blood pressure may be involved, cholesterol, you know, some type of buildup is happening within the body. And we just need to slowly remove that so that the body can start rebooting and so it start working as it should.
Exactly. So it's
very
like cleaning
simple.
up a computer
Yes.
and
Wiping it off.
wiping it
do the air.
clean.
Yes, absolutely.
and putting the right things in,
Yes.
which is a lifestyle change. You
Yes.
know, it's an amazing lifestyle change. You do great work. I can just, you know, testify to that personally. And your success stories have been great. So tell us how we can get in touch with you.
Well, you can get in touch with me on Facebook. My Facebook page is called Body Wisdom Wellness. My website is bodywisdomdna.com. And my phone number, the office number, is 302-508-5511. We welcome you.
Okay. So before we wrap up, if there was like a message that you would want to give to the public about the best approach to kind of move towards their best selves, what would you share?
Well, to move towards your best self, because you want to reduce suffering, right? That's the reason why you're moving towards your best self, is first to just make the commitment. Once you make the commitment and make the steps towards the commitment, you'll find out that you will like the results. You will learn, give yourself some room to learn how to break old habits
Yes.
and incorporating new. We talk about swaps all the time.
Yes, we do.
So incorporating new things, being open and allow variety to come in there, and then you will see the results start coming in, and then that'll put a smile on your face, right?
Yes, the motivation then changes. The motivation absolutely changes.
People want results.
They do.
They do, and if they can get results in a good amount of time, they tend to stick to it, and I'm able to deliver that, and I'm happy to deliver that, actually.
Yes.
No more suffering.
No more suffering. So it's like, to me, my experience of you has been that you're so passionate about it.
Oh, yes. I want to create a positive health experience for people, because they often come in and tell me that they receive a message of that they will have to stay on medication forever, or there's nothing that whoever the provider is can do anything for them. And in that, I want to build their confidence back up, and that they can still trust their provider, but we can integrate it with the approach that they're already using, because that's the integration I want, because there are some things in Western medicine and holistic health that I truly believe in. And I think the marriage of the two would give them the positive outcome, well, has been giving them the positive outcome.
Absolutely. So
Yes.
they do need to consult with their doctor, you know, and you work in partnership
Yes.
with them
Yes.
for them to be their best self. So there's some other things happening in the state of Delaware that are of some concern to you. We've got maybe a minute or so.
Okay.
Can you give us some information about that? Because we're around town,
Yes.
and we'd like to know what's going on around town.
Well, in the newspaper, I recently read how the drinking water in certain counties here in Delaware was undrinkable. And so with that, a lot of people are then plagued by diseases that could come about from just as simple as drinking water. And so through that, we just want to educate people
Very good.
on advocating, drinking clean water, advocating on how to probably reduce toxicity in the body so they can still live their healthier lives. And we're happy that the News Journal was able to have that available for people, because it promotes conversation.
Absolutely.
We don't want them to be scared about it. We just want to be able to help them have a plan so that they can be healthy and happy and not be afraid to live in their area.
Excellent. Absolutely
Yeah.
excellent. LaDonna, this has been great. This
Yes,
has been
awesome.
great. I'm so happy that that we've met. So just tell us again how we can get in touch with you.
Wonderful. So Body Wisdom Wellness is located in Smyrna, Delaware, 1000 Smyrna, Clayton Boulevard in Smyrna. BodyWisdomDNA.com. And the Facebook page is Body Wisdom Wellness. The phone number, our office number is 302-508-5511.
Very good. And I'll be down in your office next week.
Yes.
Because we do a Facebook Live on the third Tuesday
Yes.
of every month. So
Yes.
make sure you check us out on Facebook.
Yes.
All right. So we are going to be moving into break. We thank you and look forward to seeing you at our next segment.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We have with us a well-known blogger, Facebook vlogger. His name is Ellis, and he is fantastic. I had him on my show once before, and we have him again tonight. Welcome to the show, Yuusua.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be back.
Yeah.
Let me first say that the first three guests were outstanding.
Weren't they
Loved
amazing?
it. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. And I will be at the show.
Yes.
I will be at the show.
So we are here to talk about the first minute of a new day.
Well, the first minute of a new day. That's my page, and that's where I blog. I give a lot of information on different things, civil rights issues, local issues, national issues, international issues. Doesn't matter. Also, I have another page, Yuusua Ellis, that I do the same thing, but I also put a lot of my family, my grandchildren and things on there also. But currently, I'm beginning a project, the history of African Americans in martial arts in Wilmington, Delaware. And, the history goes a long ways back, as far as I can remember. During the 60s,
Right.
I studied under Jock Taylor, and after Jock, I studied under Willie Canty, and he met an untimely death, but that, may rest in peace. But there are so many, martial artists, African American from our past, Bobby Graham, like I said, Jock Taylor, Willie Canty, the Robinson brothers, Glenn Haley. There's a lot of history there because there were a lot of schools. And at one time, once I left Willie Canty's school after he passed, I formed my own school, which was called Black Karate Federation. And I had a lot of young guys, which basically started at Harlem Recreation Center, where I also coached basketball and did a lot of other things.
Right.
But it all started out with the karate.
Right.
So I just think it's important, and I didn't mention Shorty Wright. He's another guy. Little James is another guy. There's been a bevy of guys
Yes.
who have brought martial arts to to the city of Wilmington. And in our school at the Black Karate Federation, and I got that name from a guy out in California by the name of Steve Saunders. He created the BKF.
Okay.
So I wanted to pattern something after him. So that's one of the projects that I'm working on.
Okay.
I finished the chapter. I'm going to put it on Facebook. The beginning, but then I have another project that I'm working on. It's the history of youth basketball in the city of Wilmington. When we're talking about guys like Gil Jackson, Richard Johnson, who they were the foundation of that great Howard High School team that I think went undefeated and won the state championship. And a lot of people don't know the history of and what these guys, what their commitment was to the community, because the things that I did.
Yes.
When I coached and when I dealt with children after them, these were the guys who dealt with me when I was 9, 10, 11,
Right.
12 years old. I mean, I played ball for them. I wasn't any good, but they kept me on the end of the bench
Right.
just so that I could be happy and be
Right.
a part of the team.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start this martial arts things, and there's some few people that I'm gonna interview, that are still around. Jock's no longer with us. Willie's no longer with us, but and then there's Eric Guy, who E.G. They used to call him Little Demon. And back then I met a lot of guys. I met Ulysses Edwards out of New York. I met Peter Urban out of New York. He was the founder of Urban Goju and Chinese Goju. So I want to go back and explore some of that history and expose the people to some of the history of African American martial arts in the city, because there's been quite a lot.
Yeah.
We've had tournaments here. My first tournament, I think I won first place kata down at Bancroft School. I think it was 9 or 10 years old. I remember
when you. I remember when you were teaching.
I taught you.
Yeah.
And I taught a lot of people in my neighborhood. So that's one of the projects that I'm working on, and I'm still going hard on my page is the first minute of a new day.
Yeah.
I don't write as much.
Okay.
I generally feature what other people are saying.
Okay.
Because like I said to you before, I didn't want it to just be my view.
Right.
Because I can tend to be kind of harsh, and I'm kind of getting away from that.
Well, it's a good thing that you're doing that, because we need that information. Because if we have somebody that has the information, has the history to share, we're learning. So that skill that you're putting out there, we're learning from it. And then to implement the other information on top of it, that's just fantastic. That's a history lesson.
And one of the things I wanted to mention that I noticed is that if you go to a lot of the stores, a lot of stores are featuring T-shirts and things that really I didn't know the slang of. But when I asked a lot of young people the slang, I see that it's negative, and it portrays our community
Right.
in negative ways with different words. I'm not going to go over the words here,
Right.
but I'm saying that when your children are wearing these T-shirts and things of this nature, kind of pay attention.
Right.
Because I had a conversation with a young lady. She was walking around with a Marilyn Monroe shirt on. And I said, why are you wearing that? And she said, well, it's what everybody's wearing. I said, well, maybe you get a shirt of Coretta Scott King, or a shirt of Angela Davis,
Right.
or a shirt of Harriet Tubman. Maybe you can walk around with this on your chest.
Yes.
And I know I tend to cover a whole lot of subjects when we talk, but I have so much stuff going on up there.
Yes.
So that's what I'm working on, and I invite people to visit the page. I have a new contributor, April Ross. She's a little rough, but like I said, I give everybody their opportunity.
Right.
And we have a thing we call Hood Talk. It's not negative,
Right.
but it's more geared toward the language that young people understand. I'm still discouraging them from the streets. I'm still discouraging them from the drugs and the violence.
Yeah.
And as we know, and as I say, a lot of times, people like to pinpoint a mayor, or recently Dennis Williams,
Right.
that they can cause a stop to this. And as I told you before when I was on your show, that I believe that the federal government
Yeah.
can stop anything they want to stop. And when we stop these, guns and drugs coming to our community,
Right.
then, we have a chance.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I believe that we have to educate our children about our past, the struggle for voting rights,
Yeah.
the struggle during the Jim Crow era, because my father grew up during that time, and my father taught me a lot. He wasn't an educated man, but he was a wise man.
Right.
So he taught me a lot about that. So everything I do is geared towards educating the youth about our past.
Yes.
And what good comes from us. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna make one comment. The movie The Black Panther, I when they brought the movie out, I blogged a lot of stuff about the Black Panthers because I grew up with them.
Right.
I was a little guy, but I follow them down the street and I raised my hand too.
Right.
And one young lady was telling me that, why am I putting that down? I said, well, you're saying that now we have a black hero.
Right.
But I said that we've always had black heroes.
Exactly.
We've had fathers who work 15, 16, 20 hours a day supporting their families. Those are heroes. We have young men who have fathers who have passed away, who've taken care of their families.
Right.
Those are heroes. So, we don't necessarily need, and then my other point was, where's that money going?
Right.
Is that money going to our community? Well, who are the backers of this movie? So forgive me tonight. I know I covered a lot of areas because I'm trying to get into a whole lot of things.
Yes.
But those are some of the things that I've been covering.
But we need that.
Visit my page, First Minute of a New Day, and visit my page, Yuusua Ellis. Get a look at my beautiful grandchildren. I got 7 of them.
Oh, they're all gorgeous.
You know what I mean? So, and I have a new young one,
Yes,
Joey, named
yeah.
after the 4th Joey.
Yeah.
My father was Joseph. I'm Joseph. My son's Joseph, and he's Joseph.
Wow.
And he is the
Keep
the
an eye on
revolutionary of the future.
There you go. I
You
love
know?
it. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what you do. That's why I'm always contacting you. I told you I had to go.
Right,
I'm looking
right,
for you, right?
right, right.
I have to go and find you because your brain and what you bring to the table, we need that. And you know, we need our men to be speaking out, and for you to
Sure.
be a strong personality blogger that's getting the information out and that's not afraid to speak out.
Right.
I love that about you, and that's why I'm just like blown away. I'm always tapping you on the shoulder like, Yuusua.
Well, I'm grateful for the forum, and I must say, I was thoroughly impressed with the guests before me, the Uptown Theater,
Yes.
and the young lady Holistic. Is
LaDonna.
that what it is? Am I saying that
Yeah.
right?
LaDonna.
I was very impressed with that,
Yeah.
and you know, thanks for the forum for us
Thank
to
you.
express ourselves.
Thank you for coming.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anytime. You know.
We had
Hope
a-
you have me again.
Yeah, we had a great show tonight. Mr. Tony Jefferson and Mr. Richard Blackwell with the Uptown Theater. That's going to be an amazing show. I'm going to
Amazing.
go
I'll be there.
myself.
I'll be there for
I'm
that.
excited.
I'll be
and
there.
to have you, Mr. Ellis, come to the show.
I thank you.
And LaDonna. I mean, I'm just so grateful for everyone, and even my co-host. You know, Tanya. She's amazing,
Yes,
and I
she
just
is.
love the family
Very pretty, too.
that I have. Yeah, isn't she awesome? I
Yes.
love her. So we are going to. What are we doing? We're saying goodbye for this evening, and we'll come back on the second Tuesday. And I want to say my book is coming out. I have Journey of Faith, and we will be at the North Wilmington Library April 18th, and I can't wait to meet you guys there. So, Yuusua, I'm gonna just tell you, this night was fantastic.
I'll be there for your
Yeah.
book signing.
It was fantastic. So I'm gonna say good night, you guys.
Good night.
Around Town with Elizabeth Perkins and Tanya Bain. I'm Richard Blackwell, and be sure to watch our next episode of Around Town.